Hello and welcome to Athena's Creations. I'm Athena Turk, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator since 2017. Welcome to my live in Athena's Creations on Facebook or later on the replay on YouTube. I'm going to demonstrate for you my take on this brand new viral cross fold that we've seen a lot of amazing samples out there. And then of course, I think it was on Pinterest, somebody shared a card very similar to this one. And I just wanted to show you how easy it is to make some fast, quick, and easy and really nice Easter cards. This Sunday is Palm Sunday and next Sunday will be Easter Sunday. So it's not too late to make a couple of Easter cards and send those out to those special friends and brighten their Easter. I'm going to go ahead and turn you down and we're going to go ahead and get started on our project. And I'm also going to share with you a couple of cards and bookmark things that we've made when I host a workshop in my home. If you've ever thought about making a card, or you're curious about card making, or you're in the area and maybe you would like to join us, just reach out to me and I can get you all the information. And I, of course, like to share all the fun stuff. And what we did last in March, let's see, a couple weeks ago actually, we made this card. Really nice, easy card. And then the crafters put together this bookmark. So we do fun things in our classes. So if you'd like to join us, the next one is this Saturday. The supply fee is $12. Like I said, just reach out if you're interested in joining us. We would love to have more stamping friends. Now, the project that I'm going to start with first is going to be this fun fold. Like I said, it's the latest viral fun fold card. There's plenty of room on the back to write, and this card actually stands up. I've seen lots of different samples out there. They're absolutely gorgeous. But this one tonight is, although it's not on a card base per se, I'm going to attempt putting it on a card base because I think that it would still work out just fine. And then of course it will fold flat, and the measurements are very easy. I don't know that I have them all written out, but I will tell you all the measurements as we go along. And as you can see, it will fit into a regular sized envelope. Oops. It's trying to catch on the side there. And you can send that out in a regular sized envelope. And this one is meant to stand up. So it's really, really nice. And then of course I have lots of different card templates. They're basically just retired paper and designer paper with the measurements and everything, so that when I want to be creative, I've got all the resources available to me. This really reminded me of this template. And you can do something very, very similar. But the measurements are just a little bit different because, as you can see, although it's the same card height, it's just a tiny bit different with that inside fold. But this one's fun. It's a fun stand-up card. I should have probably made a sample. That would have been so much easier, where there's a focal point here. But that's kind of what it reminded me of. And I really love the card templates because they're so great for trying to come up with my own ideas, my own cards, when I have a fun fold. And of course, I'd love to share all of those with you. So every Thursday, I go live at 7 on Facebook in my private group, Athena's Creations. And then I upload later to YouTube. So for those of you that maybe aren't on Facebook or, things like that, you can hopefully see this on YouTube. So here, let's get started with this card. I did do some pre-cutting and stuff just so that I tend to go long, and I try not to because, you know, kind of lose focus after about 30 minutes or so. And so I'm trying to be very succinct and have some things done ahead of time, like some of the stamping I've done ahead of time. And then, of course, some of the die cutting and things like that. A really nice, easy, simple card. And like I said, I didn't write down the instructions like I normally do on a Post-it note, but I did do a little Post-it note on all the different strips that we're going to use. Let's see. I guess we should probably start maybe with, I think that's extra pieces. Oh, and then this is, of course, from that really beautiful paper that's in the current mini catalog. This is one of those that I didn't get the suite, I just got the paper. I do that sometimes. It's just whatever makes sense to me. And I love, love, love this whole suite and bundle, Delightful Wishes. But I was really taken with this paper, and it's just gorgeous. Floral Delight Designer Series paper. That's where I got the paper. And then, of course, I thought I had it handy here. The stamp set that I'm using with all of this is an online exclusive called the Faith Collection. And then the Easter greeting is from the Storybook Friends. All right, let's just move a few things aside. Like I said, I had not put that on a card base yet, but I thought I would tonight. And then this is just some extra paper that's left over from when I started to cut them down, 5 1/8 of an inch. The middle portion, or yes, the part that's going to fold, or for lack of a better word, pop up. Now this piece is 5 by 5 1/2, and it's scored at 5 inches, or excuse me, on the 5-inch side, it is scored at 1 inch, 1 7/8, 3 1/8, and 4 inches. So again, the pop-up mechanism part to the card is 5 by 5 1/2. On the 5-inch side, it is scored at 1, 1 7/8, 3 1/8, and 4. So let's go ahead and burnish all of the folds here, or the score lines rather. The Faith Collection is probably one of my favorites out of all the online exclusive stamp sets. All right, make sure I'm doing this right. That's the middle piece that's going to pop out. There we go. Probably should have done that to begin with. Let's just make sure that's burnished nicely there. I apologize in advance if my puppy dog starts to bark. He's waiting in the window for me to take him for our nightly walk. Here in the south, all of a sudden it got to be 90 degrees, so I'm having to wait till after our live to take him because it's just a little too hot already. And it's just barely April. Okay, so we've got a couple of pieces here. And as you can see, it's the same paper, just it's got a nice brown, which I relate to the cross, on one side, and the really pretty. So we're going to use both sides of paper on our card. And so the long piece that's going to be down the center, this piece here is 5 3/8 by 1 1/8. And then this one is going to just be, I'm going to just eyeball it this direction. And this is 5 1/8 by 1 1/8. And it's just going to cross just like that. But I think before I put all of this on, I'm going to adhere the card base. Hopefully that makes sense. Oh, and then this one is the layering piece, 3 1/8 by 1 1/4. So that's going to layer on top of that one. And this is all thick cardstock. So this is the base that the pop-up mechanism is going to sit on. And like I said, I'm going to attempt to put this piece, once I make it, onto a card front. It should still work, but I'm definitely going to try that. So this base piece is 5 1/2 by 3 1/2. And I'm trying to save all these little measurements. Hopefully I can write this up later for y'all. Because I'm pretty sure this will fit just fine. Just like that. Okay. And then we've got these pieces right here, these side panels that are going to go one on each side of the cross part. And this is 5 1/8 by 7/8. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere those down. Okay. I always like to line this up. Call it finding the sweet spot, where it is as closely centered as possible. I hold down one side, and then I apply the adhesive. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. The nice thing about these flowers, you don't have to worry about which side is, up or down. It'll fit just fine. Again, finding that sweet spot there. Add my adhesive. There we go. And then we've got this piece, 5 3/8 by 1 1/8. And this one's going to go right here in the middle. It almost gives it a 3D effect. It's really cool when it stands up. Again, I'm going to find that sweet spot where it's centered. Apply that adhesive just like that. And then this base is 5 1/2 by 3 1/2. Go ahead and adhere the one side first. Just trying to remember, I did this a couple of weeks ago and just trying to remember how I did it. Probably should have made myself some sticky notes. I don't know about you, but I probably ought to invest in some stock in sticky notes. Okay. So it's about 1/8 of an inch per each side. Well, I say that, and it needs to lay down first. That's what I need to do. Okay, there we go. Now that it's laid down on one side, to me, this is the easiest way to measure where it needs to go. That way it will fold flat on both sides. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and layer the two pieces. So it's thick white, 3 1/8 by 1 1/4. And the layering designer paper on top is 5 1/8 by 1 1/8. This is really my favorite paper. There's a lot of different ways of making this fun card, but this one, it just seemed like it was the easiest for me. Let's see. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Okay, and so this is what I did when I was putting this together, is when you have it flat, you're going to line it up about 2 inches down from the top approximately. And you only want to put adhesive in this little area here, okay? So just a little bit right there. Oops, I almost messed up. There we go. All right. And then next is to decorate. Like I said, I've already pre-stamped and cut those out. And then I had these pieces lying around. Happy Easter, Easter greetings. I wonder what it would look like layered with pink. I don't think so. I think I like this better. But I'm kind of liking the die cut on that one. So let's change that up just a second here. That would be really pretty for something else. So let's see if I have any of those. Yep, I have some die cut out. I've been working on next week's project, which is the paper pumpkin kit for March. And I'm really liking that die cut. And I knew I had one right here. So let's stamp Easter greetings. Oops, there goes my puppy. I thought I had that on a block, so let me take a look. I must have it on a block here somewhere, because it's not in the case. Oh, it's right next to me. I do still have it on a block. Awesome. So that's from the Storybook Friends. We're going to stamp Easter greetings. I don't know about you, but I can never have enough greetings. And the circle is really nice. It's never ending. And it's going to be straight no matter how you have it. We're using Memento Black. And you want to just stamp and hold it in place and let the ink soak in. Just like that. Love that stamp. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay. So I did change it up just a tiny bit from the original. I just think that die is perfect. And the die came from, let me tell you that before I forget, Happy Hibiscus, which is an online exclusive. And naturally, I can't find, oh, here, the die cut's right next to me. It's part of the Happy Hibiscus bundle. That's where that die cut's coming from. And then behind here, I want to add the leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and just use a glue dot, palm leaf that is. Add one right there, and one to the bottom. And then I'm going to be careful, but just a little bit in the middle of the circle. But just apply a little bit of pressure. So now let's try applying it. It should work to the card base, because of course it will stand all by itself and you have plenty of room on the back. But I'm pretty sure let's just, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. I want to make sure that it's going to be flush on here so that when I put it in an envelope, it'll fit on both sides, right? And that should work. The only difference is it's going to look like it's got a little extra on the side, and that's perfectly fine. Let's just do it. Again, I've got it where I want it, so I'm going to just lift up part of it and hold down the rest as I add adhesive, because I want to put it on a card base. And it will still stand up and pop out, and it's on a card base. A card that will wow. I think I like this one better, but they're both amazing. And I had thought about perhaps draping some white ribbon. You could definitely do that. Like I said, there's so many wonderful versions of this kind of card out there. The sky is the limit on this one. It's just gorgeous. So now let's work on our second card for this evening. This is, I'm using the die cut from the Garden Meadow. It's an online exclusive. I do believe it was on the last chance list and it may have already sold out, but there is also another online exclusive with a similar set of dies that layer that you could probably use. This has been one of my favorite stamp bundles. I do love the online exclusives. It's really been something I've enjoyed shopping from and playing with. And then this one, again, the card base is going to be on thick white. For the embellishments, we're using Starburst sequins. And this beautiful paper is from a new online exclusive suite. This one I've ordered, like I said, I did the die cutting already. And I'm putting them on dimensionals, so it'll kind of pop it up a little bit, this card. He is risen. Another nice and easy, elegant and simple card. And it's possible we could make this, because like I said, I've got plenty for our workshop Saturdays. So if that's something that you might be interested in, let me know. Let's see, I think we probably ought to get our stamping done first. This is thick white. I may have called it Whisper White. It was called Whisper White at one point. But they've changed the paper mills, and I think it's just thick white now. My husband retired from a print shop years ago, and well, they just don't print a lot of paper anymore. You want to use your bone folder to burnish that real well. Decide which side's going to be the front. And we're just going to do a little eyeballing here. Like this is going to fit right on top. So I'm just going to stamp the cross right in the center. trying to make sure everything is in the picture here. We're going to use Garden Green. It's one of my favorite stamps that's available. Just want to make sure it's got plenty of ink. And then you just want to find the center, and then just press evenly and firmly the entire block. Give it a few seconds for that ink to soak in, since we're using thick cardstock. Want that ink to soak in very well. Love it. Beautiful. All right. Now next, we're going to eyeball it again, just under the cross. And we're going to stamp He Is Risen in Memento ink. I love photopolymer. I can see exactly where I'm stamping. There's a little shadowing there. I think I must have rocked the block a little bit, so just be aware of that. Be careful. And then next, we're going to go ahead, and there's a trick to this one. So I went ahead and put all the dimensionals on there already. And I'm going to find exactly how I want this layered. And you're going to start at one end. And I say this is easy, but you're just going to be careful, and I'm going to start with one at a time because I don't want to take a chance that it's really off-centered here. Once you have one, then it's just a matter of everything's going to fall into place. But one is a little bit easier to fix. If I were to have laid it on there really off-centered. Now we're going to go for the middle one. So much easier when you do it one at a time. Just like that. You want to make sure it's flush so that you'll be able to close the card and put it in an envelope. Now the next step is I've already stamped and pre-die cut the cross. Now we're going to adhere it right into the middle. Just like that. And then we're going to add some really pretty bling. We're going to add this nice yellow, well, it's not yellow, Starburst sequins. Again, part of that new suite that's available. I'm going to add 2 there, and then we're going to add some of the small white ones. Add a little smidge in there, so that's a perfect spot for an embellishment. And we have 5, so there's our card. We might do this one for our workshop Saturday, so hopefully you can join us. Another nice and easy Easter card. And then here we have one that's standing up. Easter greetings. And then this one I put on a card base. But I have the envelope so that you can see that they will both fit and can be mailed out. Just be really careful when you put it in that envelope. I promise it will fit. Just like that. Same for the smaller one without the card base. It will fit as well. Amazing, right? I love these cards. And then, of course, next week, I should have all the fun projects and alternatives ready for our March paper pumpkin kit. I've been really having fun with that kit, so hopefully you can join us next week for that one. These are fun, amazing cards. Thank y'all so much for joining me, and we'll see you next week. Have a good evening. Happy stamping.